often you have to convert one unit into another. Unit analysis is a mathematical technique used to convert units. So what we do is we multiply or divide to cancel out the unwanted unit and convert into the wanted units. So you have this chart on one side of your data sheet. So let's observe where that chart is on your data sheet. Can you find it? On the back side, it says units and prefixes, and you have this chart. Do you see it? Yeah. It's very important. What I would like you to do, if you have a highlighter or just a pen or whatever, is to highlight this space here. Highlight this line across where it says common base units. So I'm going to teach you how to read this, because if we know how to use it, it's like knowing how to use a tool. If you have a tool but you don't know how to use it, it's not very useful, right? So how to use this is understanding what are the common base units. So the common base unit means something like a meter or a liter or a gram. Okay, so maybe let's even write that next to it. This is like a liter or a meter or a gram. Okay. So because everything references that base unit. So let me give you an example. So say I'm talking about liters. I can have a milliliter, okay? Milli, a milliliter. Or I can have a kiloliter. Or I can have a gigaliter. That's a lot of liter. Okay? Or I could have a nanoliter, a microliter. Okay, so everything is referencing that base unit. Do you see what I mean? It's always like something that base unit. If I use, say, meters, I can have a millimeter, a centimeter, a decimeter, a meter, right? See? Millimeter, centimeter, decimeter, meter.
Can you have like a picometer?
Yeah, you can have a picometer, a decameter, hectometer, kilometer. See, it all references the base unit. Do you see that? Okay, good. That's clear. Now, so the chart shows us what we call it, okay? Then the chart shows us what symbol we put in front of our base unit. So it's like either we have a kiloliter. Well, how do we know to put a K in front? Well, it tells us right there. There's the K for kilo. How do you know that a centimeter goes cm? Well, there's the C for centa, and you put it in front of the M for meter, okay? Then here's the new part, though. This tells us by what factor it's different, okay? Now here, what does this kind of look like to you, this column? It kind of looks like scientific notation, right? That's because it is, okay? So it's telling us by how many decimal places we had to move. Because that's what scientific notation means. Scientific notation means how many decimal places I moved. Now I'm going to show you something to put into your calculator. Oh, everyone has my calculators. Can I use yours as an example? I'm going to show you a shortcut of how to write in scientific notation. Okay? So actually, I can just do it on the board. So this is the shortcut. This is important. So say in your calculator you want to write down 5 times 10 to the power of 5. Okay?
Which sheet are we writing all this stuff on? Our data sheet?
No, our notes. Okay, but a trick of how to do that is to hit the 5 button. Hit the 5 with me. Press the second button if you have a graphing calculator. Second, this trick will only work for like graphing calculators. And then press the comma button, and it should give you an E. You see the E symbol? And then press 5 for the exponent, and then hit enter.
So that's 5 power 10.
Yeah.
Could you have all notes too? Oh, you already.
would help you.
Yeah, it's about right here. Five.
So it's hitting the comma button.
So you hit like 5.
Second,
Or second.
Okay, so I'll just show you here. So the buttons that you push, if you were to put that into your calculator, is push the 5 button, then push the second button, and then you push the comma button, and above it, it says like EE or something, and then you would hit 5 again.
I went 80, like E12, and the answer just come up as 80, 12.
Yes,
So that means there'd be 12 zeros there?
yes, or if it moved 12 decimal places over. So sometimes your calculator will give you answers where it just says something E blah blah. That means times 10 to the power of, okay? Because there's not enough space on your calculator screen to like write the whole number. That's why.
My old scientific calculator would do that.
Yes, and that's what it meant. Okay? So that's fine as long as you know how to read it, right? So then it can show up as like, it looks 5E5. Well, when you see that, that means 5 times 10 to the power of 5. Okay? All right. So those are just, okay, that's how to read it. So I'm going to show you what I mean here in this example. Okay. So say I want to convert 5,500 millimeters into a meter. Okay? So let's write down 5,500 millimeters, and I'm going to times it by a fraction, okay? I'm going to times it by a fraction because I want to cancel out the other, I want to cancel out this unit, and I want to end up with my answer being in meters. So, how do you cancel something out if you're multiplying it by? The millimeters need to be on the bottom of the fraction. If my millimeters are on the bottom of a fraction, watch this, they cancel out. Right? You agree? If I want to end up with meters, my meters has to be on the top of the fraction. It has to be what's left over as the unit. Okay? So, but I'm not done. I'm not hardly even nearly done. So I wrote out my units of what I need to compare. But I need to have the numbers, okay? So I'm going to look here, and I'm going to compare. So my common base unit compared to millimeters. That means for every times 10 to the power of -3 meters, there is 1 millimeter. That's what that means. The common base unit, you need times 10 to the power of -3 of them for every 1 millimeter. How many millimeters are in 1 meter? 1,000. That's the same, that means the same thing. So it's like saying there's 1,000 millimeters in every 1 meter, or it means there's a 1,000th of a meter in every 1 millimeter. Okay, I'll show you something. Here, you take that. Okay, that's for the 4 of you. You guys take this for the breaks. Okay, look at that ruler. I'll get you guys some.
Percy,
I need meters, not a ruler.
No. No.
That one more. Okay, can you guys share, or would it be easier to share with them? Here, I'll just hold it here. And then I'll tell everybody. Okay, guys, so what I want you to think, look at your ruler. Can you find a millimeter line on your ruler? It's a meter stick. Can you find the millimeter lines on your meter stick? How many of those lines are on the whole meter stick? 1,000. Okay? Now look at one of the little tiny millimeters. Look at two of the tiny lines. Look at that and think to yourself, how much of a meter is in that? Sit, stand up on your desk. Stand up on your desk. Please, come on. Okay, Cole will do it. Kyle, tell him what you just said.
Stand up on the desk.
Say it out loud for us, Cole.
Wait, what? 1,000. 1,000.
There is
Say it better.
1,000. You said it better than me. I can't do it. 1/1,000 of a meter inside that millimeter, right? Okay, yes, you can. Do you see that? Yeah? That's what this means. There is 1/1,000 of a meter inside of 1 millimeter. Because times 10 to the power of 3 means you move the decimal places 3 places, right? And moving the decimal places 3 places is 1,000.
Yep.
Okay? So, what I want you to do now is type this into your calculator. So, what you type into your calculator is this. You go the number 5500, and you can go, I'm just going to do for everybody, times 10, and then do the arrow up. Hey, you need to do this. And then the negative, and then the 3. Okay.
Type divide by 1.
I don't know how to do this.
Where's
Do
that?
you know where the power button is on the scientific calculator?
Is that one? So like
Anything divided by 1 is itself.
Oh, definitely. Like,
What did somebody just ask me? An exponent? Who asked me
Where's
exponent?
the?
The arrow button? Okay, it's right there. But the arrow button is above
Division.
the division button. Yeah.
Or below
you want to
the
on this
No, I
one?
got.
Oh, wait. It's
Where's the up button?
This
Is it not on scientific calculator? It's not on scientific. Dad,
No, I don't.
I didn't know why, Dad.
Yes, it is.
It's right here that clear. Right now, this should have worked. Okay, so ready?
Whose is not working? Anybody cannot?
I don't know if that's right.
No, that's a mine.
How do you get that?
Get one.
Oh, that's not gonna work.
Yours is like 5500 times what I showed.
Mine shows a Y.
Why is it working?
I got 5.5.
I don't know. After you, Pearson, how quickly divide by?
Air.
No. Use the negative 3 and then.
We have the.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know.
I know.
Yeah, and
No, it's
32 centimeters.
You could go to I'm so
my dad.
This is my answer.
Okay.
I don't feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's error. Yeah, mistaken. I did forget it. It's an error.
Yeah.
Why did I do it and it
No,
worked?
we didn't try to calculate.
Okay, let's do it together. Come, listen, watch, together. Are we doing it together?
No, transfers, Chris.
To the power,
Yeah, there's like
-3.
maybe second.
Oh yeah,
How does that free?
don't press the minus button, you gotta press the negative button.
I got it.
Yes, yes, there will be.
Yeah.
This is probably the negative, I'm guessing. No, the answer should be what? 5.5. Because now I want you to do this. Maybe I'll confuse you if I do it.
I'm up to the
Probably.
challenge.
Okay, I won't do it. Well, take that and divide it by 1,000.
Yeah, that's way easier.
It's the same thing.
Why would we just do that?
Okay, good question. Because this skill is I'm going to give you a much harder question in which you have to do this.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So we're starting with something simple. Okay?
So what?
So you would recommend the harder way?
This is AP white.
Bye-bye.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Scratch it.
Yeah, probably.
Yes. Miss Aiken, is your video?
This is absolutely.
Oh, that is interesting. It is.